I figured I might as well address this now rather than eventually have someone browse through my older videos and go,
"Wait, what the f-?"
That's right, what you're looking at is a defense of Mr. Enter's infamous Turning Red video, the one that involves 9/11. I once defended it. However, due to the combination of reading some of the constructive criticisms in the comments section, watching the South podcast video, and watching the actual movie once more, I eventually realized I fucked up. Long story short, Mr. Enter reviewed a film called Turning Red and brought up 9/11. He received backlash for it. Now, it's important to clarify what he said in the video. His main complaint was the film itself was strangely upbeat and hip-hoppy for a film that takes place 1 year after the tragedy, even if the film is set in Canada. He wasn't saying Turning Red itself should have outright acknowledged 9/11, and I knew that. I knew Enter wasn't saying 9/11 should be in Turning Red. What I didn't know is that everybody else knew that too. Back when I made my defense video, I was under the mindset of the following. Mr. Enter's content is overhated, and Turning Red feels modern for a 2002 setting. I actually still believe the former, albeit to a much lesser extent, which I'll delve into shortly. And the latter, I'm completely turned around on, having watched the film again. As of second viewing, my only real gripe was the use of OMG, but it turns out even that would have been misconception because apparently OMG originated in 1917. What the fuck? Yeah, and I was quite foolishly sure of myself on the film's portrayal of history. I take back most of it. But there was another mindset I had when making my defense video, and that was, I can't believe people are stupid enough to assume Enter wanted 9/11 in a Pixar movie. Basically, the main purpose of my defense video was to clarify what Enter actually said for the people that misunderstood what he said, which turned out to be pretty much no one. The problem I had was the same exact problem Mr. Enter himself had with his video. A limited mindset. The problem with Enter's video, the actual problem, was American perceptionalism. Actually, maybe not even that. Mr. Enter's video made it seem like 9/11 made the world become an edgy and paranoid planet for a decade, which I honestly thought that was the case as well at the time. While it did leave a heavy impact on certain aspects of the US, and certainly was a horrific and traumatic experience to the population for some time, the reality is most people eventually got back to their regular lives within a couple months, before 2002 even came to existence, and the rise of edgy art likely had nothing to do with the event. I mean, these came from Denmark. And all this is just referring to the US alone. This South podcast video, which has a Canadian resident respond to Enter's video.
Americans, this may be difficult for you to hear. The world does not revolve around your culture.
Made me realize that Canada's reaction to 9/11 was equivalent to the US's reaction to the 2015 Paris bombings.
Oh no! Anyway.
Yeah, you probably figured out the problem at this point. I messed up defending Enter's video. I'm sorry to those that liked the defense video, but it's bad, and Enter's video is bad. Which is why it's a good thing that even he himself has realized this, right?
I bring this up because it radically altered the culture of the time, in ways that make this movie feel exceptionally ignorant of the time.
That was a stupid point. I'm not gonna defend it.
That's right, folks. Even Enter himself has gone on to say that he fucked up making that video. And that's a victory, right? Well, sort of. I see this as a half victory, because while Enter is aware that his Turning Red video is bad, I'm under the impression that he still doesn't understand why. In fact, I believe he learned the wrong lesson from the situation, and that belief started when I saw this video.
Internet nitpicking has done more damage to media as a whole than it has helped it.
As I said, I found Mr. Enter to be overhated. In spite his crappy audio quality and the struggle to find his own YouTube style, his voice, if you will, I still to this day found some of his older content to be somewhat enjoyable. He does have intriguing things to say in his videos, like mixed messages, swearing, or everything's offensive, or his technocracy videos that even his detractors consider to be good. I consider his Turning Red video to be a rough in the semi-diamonds. However, this, a video that, while I wouldn't consider bad, I did have so many issues with it that I made a response to it. The basic gist is he's come to the conclusion that nitpicking is bad, while I argue nitpicking is good. It's actually much more complicated than that. Just watch my response video for more details. But basically, I'm a strong advocate for nitpicking, and while I don't like the concept of people considering the Lord of the Rings trilogy to be garbage just because there's a car in that one shot, I do consider it important to point out that there is a car in that one shot. And as much of a masterpiece the trilogy is, it would still technically be even more of a masterpiece if there wasn't a car in that one shot. Mr. Enter, on the other hand, thinks nitpicking does damage to the industry. And what made him come to this conclusion other than cinema sins?
This film takes place less than a year after the September 11th terrorist attacks.
I'm sorry. There are flaws with a movie, a book, whatever, that can break a good, entertaining time. But there are also these things called acceptable breaks from reality.
Yep. He thinks his Turning Red video is bad because he took nitpicking too far. Not only is his perception on nitpicking now questionable, he still thinks Turning Red's 2002 setting is inaccurate to reality. Only now, it's just that it wouldn't matter for a film about red pandas, which is technically true. Obviously, this film's tone does not need to abide to the events of 9/11. However, as I now know, Turning Red very likely does take place in an accurate post-9/11 Canada. The real problem was our perception. So yeah, that's my current stance on Mr. Enter. His Turning Red video is bad. My defense video of it is bad. His stance on nitpicking is a mixed bag, and I've been hesitant to watch his recent content. Though I probably should, because as of recording this, I saw his recent videos on Le Torop and Pinocchio, and I honestly thought they were decent. Maybe his crappy audio would be too much for you, but check out his channel. Give him a chance. So, as I was editing this video, Enter releases not one, but 2 videos further talking about his Pentagon Perfect Storm. While they don't explicitly state his reasoning to know why his video was bad, nor further explain his stance on nitpicks, they do give me the impression that he might have a better understanding of both topics now. I don't know for sure, but he might. And I noticed that his mic quality has gotten a little bit better since his nitpick video.
It's a bit rich coming from you.
Again, his videos may not be the best in the world, but I recommend checking them out nevertheless. I critique his videos not to annoy him, but to help him. Because I actually see potential in Mr. Enter, in spite having once brought up the fucking Pentagon. Anyways, bye.